I'm Adam LZ, and this is How to Backwards Manual. Alright, so you're going to need a parking lot and a helmet and probably a bike too. The most important part to doing this trick is being able to under-rotate, because like the key to getting locked into a backwards manual is spinning 90 degrees, so when you land in the backwards manual, you can still have that time to spin. Because if you do a full 180 and land in the backwards manual, your bike's going to want to keep going around and you won't have time to travel backward. Okay, so when I learned this trick, basically what I do is I pull up. I actually learned out of a manual because like manual 180s tend to put you in that spot that sets you up for the backwards manual. So what I recommend doing is do like a little under-rotated 180 and land back heavy. Then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna like give a little bit of pedal pressure, and I really can't say enough how important it is to under-rotate, and under-rotating and like leaning too far back is what's gonna get you locked in. So you can learn them by just doing fakies and then just kind of like pulling up and trying to get a feel for it going that way. But I actually think that's harder because for some reason I can't get balance right in the fakie to actually be able to do it. But when you do get it, you can go a little bit longer because your bike doesn't want to keep spinning. So like with that in mind, when you're doing like the 180 backwards manuals, the less you spin, the longer you'll be able to hold it, because your bike will be able to like lock in to that like straight back pose. I think the best way to do them is either learning out of a manual 180 in a parking lot, under-rotated 180, or even out of a bowl with a little bank on the other side. It's a trick that's really going to take time, and there's really nothing else to it, to getting into it, than just under-rotating, leaning a little too far back, and just cranking back. To get out of them, there's a couple different things you can do. When I learned them, I did a lot of like little half cabs. You usually will only do about a half a crank backwards, and then you'll do like a little like half cab by putting a little pedal pressure, and you'll spin your cranks back like 90 degrees. That's just how I learned them, and it seems to work pretty easily. Another thing you could do is if you can ride them out almost a full crank, sometimes what I'll do is I'll spin the last 180 on the cranks a little bit faster and then give a little bit of pedal pressure, and you can switch it into a manual. It's really going to be preference. I mean, you might even do it where when you're getting out, you don't even half cab out, but it just kind of worked naturally to me where I would get the half crank and then just pop a little bit. I mean, pedal pressure is really everything with this trick. It's finding a happy medium. But again, the most important thing that you just have to take away from this is just under-rotate, try to do a 90 and land on your back wheel. Okay, so if you're doing it out of a bowl, it's pretty much the same story, except what you're gonna wanna do is instead of like flying out of a quarter or something, you're gonna wanna try to push through it to like preserve your momentum going backwards. When I do the trick, if I have a hard time getting back around in the bowl, I'll come out a little bit more of an angle so I can use like the momentum to spin me around. But a lot of it's gonna be like getting a little bit of pedal pressure to get yourself locked into the manual. If you're having trouble getting the rotation around, I spin to the left. What I do is I kind of lean into the right a little bit, and leaning in will kind of like bank your turn and make you spin around in it, and it helps a lot if you're doing it like on a bowl or something. It's not like every other trick where going faster will necessarily make it easier. There's kind of a happy medium between going too slow where it's really difficult to balance and going too fast where you don't have time to catch up with the cranks. So you'll kind of find that happy medium on your own, but watching a lot of videos of other riders will kind of give you an idea. I don't think it's any easier on a free coaster, even though they make it look it. I like being able to crank backwards. I ride a profile cassette and I think it's perfect. Good luck. Follow me on Instagram at Adam_LZ lasagna. Peace.